I would like to welcome you to the August 24th meeting of the Murfreesboro Noon Rotary Club, and thank you for your presence. We've just got a packed full agenda today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So immediately following the prayer, pledge, and four-way test, please continue to enjoy your meal. So before we start, would you like to silence your cell phones? I know you're very much in demand, and we want you to be able to honor our request. Thank you so much. We're ready now for the prayer, pledge, and four-way test.
Hello. Pray with me, please. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this day and this time to be together, both in person and virtually. There's so much in our community and so much in our region that needs our prayers and our attention. Please be with and comfort our neighbors to the west who have experienced flooding and the loss of, in some cases, the loss of life, loss of family members, loss of everything for a lot of people. There is sickness, there is pain, there is so much in this world. Please use us. Please make us your hands and feet in this world to do your work to those who need it and to do it in your name. And please just guide us in all that we think, say, and do. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, in the invisible four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Miss Nancy, we're ready for a family of Rotary.
Gloria and I made the executive decision not to try to hang the four-way test today because I didn't want to climb in a chair and try to put it up over there. I'm getting a little old to climb in chairs anymore, so it's nice to have everybody. I don't have any guests today because Warren is a member. So I do want to thank those that have already done the prayer pledge and four-way test for getting here early to sort of see what happens. Chinto and I really do appreciate it. I'll be gone some in the fall, and when you can help with that little deal, that's much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we have our athletic director from MTSU, and he's just put a bite of food in his mouth, but we still need an update. Since he wore his power suit today, we just want to recognize him and just have him share with us some of the great things happening in athletics on the MTSU campus. And then John, get ready. George, get ready. And also Phil King, if you have a report, let us know. All right.
We're excited. Soccer has played their first 2 games, so they're 1-0 in one.
You are so welcome. And we're so excited about football season. AD Massaro, we start Friday night as a community, Friday Night Live downtown around the historic square. We'll be celebrating MTSU. There will be cheerleaders, the mascot, bringing the university to the community. So please come join us and be prepared to dance. All right. John Dietrich, you have anything exciting to tell us about the quarterbacks?
Got plenty, got 3. I think, personally, I think Milton should start. 300 pounds, like Kevin, but the first game, new start, new era. I'm excited about it right now. We should be paying. We play September 2nd. It's going great. I am going up there.
Okay.
And I have a kid that just started there, so I have another excuse to keep going up there.
Congratulations. George, what about Vandy?
This is entering into our dark season. 4 years I was at Vanderbilt, we didn't win a single SEC football game, and I'm not sure that this year's freshmen aren't going to be in a similar situation. So I'll tell you a joke. Where was OJ headed when he was in the Bronco and the police were watching? He was headed to Vanderbilt Stadium, and that's the last place anybody looked for a football player.
And now we'll call our past president, Phil King, up to talk to us about foundation football, because I know you've checked your emails and you've received an invitation from him to join us with foundation football for this year. Phil King.
Thank you, Gloria. Hey, everybody on Zoom. If you have not already done so, please sign up for Foundation Football. We are bringing Foundation Football back because, like Chris said, both college and professional teams will be having a full season this year. So you've really got until this Friday to let me know who your teams are. You just need to pick a college team and a pro team, and that's it. And we'll handle the rest. What happens? If your team wins, it's $5. For the points they score, it's 10 cents per point. Even if your team does not win, you still get credit for the points they score. All the money that your teams earn you, you get to make a donation to the Rotary International Foundation, and this money will count towards your Paul Harris. It's a great way for our club to raise money together, and it's also a lot of fun to see how your teams do. So I ran short of these. If you need, if there's not one on your table, just let me know, or you can reply to me back on email. Those of you on Zoom, you can hit the chat feature and just let Frank and Gloria know your name and who your teams are, and we will get you added. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phil. And while we're talking about giving, you have your gift bags in lieu of your carafes. So please remember, we are still committed to ending polio globally. So please make sure that you take the time to contribute in that regard. All right. Now, we have just witnessed, as of this weekend, a devastating flood and rainstorm in our community of Tennessee. So I've asked Warren Dickinson, one of our newest members, to come forward and make an appeal to each of our members regarding the effort at his location of Screen Art. He's working in conjunction with the American Red Cross with Tara Stone. So this will give us an opportunity to continue to contribute in significant ways.
Thank you, Lori. Not a lot to announce other than we are working with the Red Cross because there's not an official drop-off center here in Murfreesboro or Rutherford County. So everything is now being staged and dropped at our business at 502 Sunset, where Screen Art is. It's the old Victory Market. A lot of people know it by that as opposed to Screen Art. And so we're collecting, and as we get trucks full, we're taking them over to Dixon to the primary drop-off. So if there's anything that you've got, they need clothing, they need water, food. We've got right now probably 50 bags of clothes that people have brought in, probably about 75 boxes of shoes. So a lot of stuff being dropped off, and anything that you have, bring it in. We're getting it over there. That's it. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you so much. It's a perfect example of service above self. So when you return to your respective places, homes and businesses, please make that announcement to help increase the awareness about the community effort on behalf of the American Red Cross. So now we are ready for our highlight of the day, and our speaker is going to be introduced by Miss Amelia. So we want to thank you for an excellent job, Amelia. Our theme for this month is athletics, and Amelia and Gary Dennis are doing an outstanding job in scheduling our speakers for this Rotary year. So Amelia.
Thank you, Dr. Bonner. Our speaker today is an accomplished athlete and head coach of many years' experience. Chris Harris has been named the first full-time athletic director of Rutherford County Schools. He succeeds Tim Tackett, who served as a part-time athletic director for the district since 2013. In his expanded role, the athletic director works with middle and high schools to coordinate athletics and help bring Rutherford County Schools extensive programs. Chris is an educator of more than 30 years who most recently taught U.S. history at Siegel. And he also has a storied and award-winning athletic record. Chris grew up in Knoxville, and he won a state championship in basketball as a student athlete with Holston High School. He was recruited to Middle Tennessee State University by Coach Jimmy Earl, a personal mentor to Harris. As a senior, Chris started at center for the Blue Raiders, and he will always be remembered as part of the team that upset Kentucky 50-44 in 1982 during the NCAA tournament. He served as an assistant basketball coach at Gallatin, Smyrna, and Riverdale before serving as head coach at Holloway for a year before being named the head coach at Siegel High School. Chris coached Siegel boys basketball for 5 years from 2003 to 2008 and led the Stars to 3 state playoff appearances, including a trip to the Elite Eight and twice to the Final Four. His overall record at Siegel was 113-55. He retired from coaching after the 2007-2008 season, but never left the world of prep athletics. He spent time as a soccer administrator, drove for the school's wrestling team, and was a resource to his former assistant coach. Please welcome Rutherford County Schools Athletic Director, Chris Harris.
Thank you, Ms. Bozeman, for that introduction. First, I want to thank the Rotary Club and Dr. Bonner, and I appreciate all the great work that you all do, especially like your motto, service above self. I will tell you that I saw Dr. Bonner a few weeks ago, and it's kind of reminded me of when I was growing up in Knoxville. was a church I used to go to, and there was when I sit in the back of the church, my mother used to sit up in the choir, and there was a lady named Clara Riggins. She was the head of the usher board. And when it wasn't our time to usher, and they were always short ushers, me and my brother would hide back in the back. So hoping that she wouldn't call on us. And sure enough, Miss Riggins would see us and say, "Hey, I need help." And so my mother would be in the choir looking at us, knowing we better say yes. So when I saw Dr. Bonner at the central office, and she said, "Coach Harris, I'm gonna have to get you over to the Rotary to give a speech." And I said, "Yes, of course." So I had a flashback to Miss Clara Riggins, but I couldn't deny Dr. Bonner. She's been very helpful to me when I decided to go back to school and get my teaching certificate. She helped me. And when I was having some issues, everyone said, "Go see Dr. Bonner." So that's the first thing I did. And she's been very helpful to me and with especially a lot of other students. And seeing Chris Massaro here, I've got a lot of questions for you about athletic director issues, and I can really call on you for some advice. But it's been July 1st, I hit the ground running. It's been quite an amazing journey. I will just tell you, right, as some of y'all know about my background that Ms. Bozeman read, I won't spend too much time on that. Just a quick summary. Before I even got into education, I was in restaurant and retail management. So I spent 8 years running. I was a drugstore manager at Eckerd Drugs. I was a restaurant manager at Cracker Barrel. So I know how to flip eggs and do all that stuff. Mama's pancake breakfast, I can do all that stuff. Old country style breakfasts, I can do all that. I learned all that stuff right out of college, so I didn't go right into education. So I just wanted to let you all know that. So my background is a little different from a lot of people. I did that for 8 years before I got into education. And my father was in the military, so we traveled a lot. And I was actually born in Augusta, Georgia, at Fort Gordon. And so we traveled overseas, and we did a lot of those things. We traveled, and he was stationed in Naples, Italy. So when we went back to Augusta, we stayed there for a while, and then I got to Knoxville, 1972. So I kind of called Knoxville home. And so don't tell anybody this, but I was a closet UT fan. So that's how that started. My brother used to sneak me into the UT games, Neyland Stadium back in the day, but I'm a true Blue Raider now, without a doubt. But just to talk about what my vision is for athletics here in Rutherford County, there are so many things that are going on that I've learned about what the situation is here with middle schools and high schools. Some of the things that are in what I'd say dire need is space. Just having space for middle schools to play, particularly football games. Those are things that I found that has been an issue. Sharing of fields. If you have one particular middle school, or you have two middle schools that don't have a field, how do you rotate that time? That's been a major issue. So that's something I've had to deal with. And then if Riverdale, for example, they're trying to get their field ready for Friday nights, then you've got the middle schools coming over there. Hey, I don't want them on. Should they be on it? Should they not be on it? That's been you think those things don't matter, but they do. And so those are kind of things I've been trying to navigate as an athletic director between the principals. And so those are some of the things I've been learning as I've been going through this. But my overall vision, what I want, I try to incorporate what I learned from coaching and what I learned from my parents. I want my coaches to instill in my student athletes the importance of doing the right things, representing their school, and just showing good behavior, doing all those things that they need to do on and off the court. I was talking to Ms. Bozeman about a court case that has gave us some pause that I had to talk to my athletic directors about at the start of the year. And that was a court case that involved social media. And one of those, this case had to do with a cheerleader who was, she had said some things on social media about her. Now, some of you may know this story, but she had shared some things on social media about her cheerleading sponsor. She had tried to make the varsity or something like that, and she didn't make it. And so she posted a bunch of negative things on social media away from campus. So they disciplined her. Either they kicked her off the team or suspended her. And so she filed a lawsuit. So the point was, it made its way all the way to the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of her. And so that changes the way we as coaches or athletic directors, we have to tell our coaches, those old things that we grew up with about you represent yourself on and off the field, wherever you are. Those things maybe, I think those things are not antiquated. I think those things are important. But now we're in a different time. So social media, the Supreme Court said, well, wait a minute, that's away from campus. You can't discipline them. So those are some of the things we're having to navigate our way through. But that kind of ties into, I still want, as far as my vision is concerned, I want our coaches to have those old school values. I want our kids to represent ourselves, represent our school, represent our teams on and off the court. And then I've noticed, and Mr. Massaro, he probably knows about this, the overtime league that has started for high school athletes. If you're a 5-star athlete now, you can just skip. A lot of kids are skipping basketball. They're 5-star, they're going right to instead of going to the NBA, skipping college, they can go right to this league and they can get a 6-figure salary. So now that's making high school kids are having another choice. So now that could turn things upside down. I'm not saying we have anybody in Murfreesboro that's that good. I'd like, but we did have a young man from Bell Buckle who went to UT. He's a 1st-round pick. So I'm just saying those kind of things are trickling down into that's changing the way athletics is in our country. So, but what I want to see out of athletics is for all of us is that the community service, I'd like to see more involvement from our businesses. And I know a lot of you all are doing that with all our schools, and everything, as you all know, runs on money. I found that out when I was a coach at Siegel High School. The first time I saw my budget to start out the school, they presented me what our budget was, and they said, well, you got to take some bids on this. And I said, for my uniforms, my shoes, and everything else. And I said, wait a minute, this is what I'm starting with? So, and then you have to compete with what the kids want, the style, the type of stuff they want, the gear that they want to get the kids to want to be at your school. And so I'll tell you this quick story. It's one of my best players, Keith Ramsey. My first year of coaching, I've got these black Nike tennis shoes, and they were kind of the cheapest shoe you could find. I was being economical within the budget. I thought it was a great shoe. And as soon as we got these shoes, all the players said, Coach Harris, what is this ugly shoe? What is this thing? And it was just a basic shoe. And of course, they ran up and down the court, and they didn't like that shoe at all. They hated it. And so the thing ended up tearing up, but it was a cost-effective type thing. I guess the point of it was. But what I learned from that is that you need more money. If you want the best, you have to go out and get the money. So I had to go out and fundraise. And what I got from the county wasn't enough. So we had to put those star boards up there, get those signs, and go out and get people like yourselves to put more money into the program to get the things that we needed. So a lot of what I need, a lot of what these schools need is more investment from the community. We need more opportunities for our kids to play. There's more programs that we're trying to get started. A lot of the things I realized that we had in our community, archery, for example. We even have track programs in middle school now. There are other things that we're doing. All the club sports that are making their way in. I had a middle school coach a middle school principal who said, why can't we get lacrosse here in Rutherford County? So those are some of the things that we're trying to, there's a lot of things I'm open to trying to get as far as my vision is concerned, is trying to get all these things here in our county. I think Rutherford County has an opportunity to be one of the best or counties in the state. We've got so much growth here. We've got the students. We've got, and you saw from the census how many people are moving here. There are a lot of things here in Rutherford County that attract people. We got the university. I met my wife at Middle Tennessee State. My kids went there. My kids went through the Rutherford County Public Schools. My son went to Riverdale. My daughter went to Siegel. They played sports there. So everything here in Rutherford County is an attraction. And so as athletic director, my job is to try to showcase everything that we have in this county and try to get as much publicity as we can. And so if anything that I can do to try to get our county out there in the media world, I'm going to try to do that. One of the things my brother said about Murfreesboro, and I love Murfreesboro. He had this one quote. He said Murfreesboro is one of the best small towns in America, and he lives in Stone Mountain, Georgia. So I said, yes, it is. It's one of the best small towns in America. But I love being here. I love the city. I love this job. It's been a great opportunity for me. And I enjoyed being here, and anything I can do to help motivate and promote Rutherford County schools, I'm going to do it as the athletic director here. So if y'all have any questions, I'm free. I'm up here to answer any questions that you all may have. Yes.
Coach, Rutherford County was a lot of, with that county, where pro and the school would do well, like Parkview, and then all of a sudden you would rezone, and then Parkview would go down, but Verdant High would go up or something like that. It seems to me since I've been here, that's kind of been part of the challenge that you build new high school, train or move players out. How much do you hear from high school? I mean, if I was a high school coach, I'd be very concerned if they built a new high school just down the road. I'm sure that's part of the challenge you face.
Yeah, that's, I haven't heard from the coaches about that. As an athletic director, I heard from the coaches when I was coaching. So when I was at Siegel, I did hear a lot about that because whenever a school opened, the first thing I wanted to know was who am I losing? And especially, and believe it or not, it's not as much the high schools, it's more the middle schools because those are your feeders. And so the first thing I wanted to look at was, all right, Siegel Middle was our direct feeder. Now you've got Whitworth Buchanan. How many of those kids are mine? And then we're only allowed to talk to the ones that are zoned for us. So I can't just walk over to Whitworth Buchanan and say, hey, the Siegel basketball coach or Siegel football coach is here. They have to go see the ones that are zoned for me. And then that limits, it may only be 3 kids. Well, the best kids may be zoned for Oakland. You see what I mean? The best athlete. So that's where you run into all of that. So it has been an issue. I mean, we're dealing with that with Rockville now. They've got 9 portables out there. And I believe they're getting ready to do a rezoning there. So some of those kids may be going back to Riverdale or going to Riverdale, not back to, but some may be rezoned to Riverdale. I mean, Rockville's over 2,000 kids. So there's a lot of, and my wife always said, why don't they just build high schools that have 3,000 in it? Why they always thought, I said, I don't know, but maybe that's where every high school is built for 2,000. No, I don't, but yes, that is an issue. And I don't know how we're going to address that because we're going to be dealing with the same issue when they go out in Whitworth with the high school in the next couple of years.
My question, your playing days at MTSU, you played for Coach Rutherford.
Yes.
You were known as a rebounder, if I recall.
Yes.
So that, you gotta have some
Coop said that folks said.
He was crazy. That sums it up in a nutshell. Ramrod, he was called that for a reason. He was just a, bull. I mean, he just bulled his way through everything. I will say this about him. He said some things. One of the things that I think got him in trouble is that he said the first thing that came in his mind. And so you don't say that around boosters. But he wasn't politically correct with the way he said things. But one of the things he told us, especially before we played Kentucky, as we practiced for Kentucky, he never thought that we couldn't beat him. And so we never practiced like we couldn't beat them. He said he kept telling us we could beat them. But there was one thing he told us in practice, even before that, several years before that. He said something. Sometimes coaches will tell you things that stick in your mind. He told us one day in practice, and he would say something. Sometimes he'd run us to death like Bobby Knight. That's what I mean. He was a nut. But he said something once about life. And he said, the basketball court or athletics, he said, guys, this court is the only place in life you're going to go where no one's ever going to care what you are and what you look like. You're only going to be judged by your effort. He told us that my sophomore year. And I took that with me. I didn't think about it then. At 19, you don't think about that. But years later in life, that stuck in my head. And that has stuck in my head since then. Now, why he said that, I don't know why. But we were going through practice that he said that, and I've never forgotten that. Yes.
As we watched the development of Riverdale,
Mhm.
they had a swimming pool, so they had to have a swimming pool. And so that if we put new schools on, we would decide that every facility we have, every school can have every facility.
Now, that is a good question. I don't know the answer to why. I just know, Laverne and Smyrna have pools, Riverdale and Oakland have a pool. Why we don't have more, I don't know that. Well, I can tell you the answer. It's cost. Cost has to do with that. And it is an issue about practice time because pool time, that is a major issue with who gets in the pool. I've already I've gotten emails about that. So if you are running the pool, then the middle school, they want to get pool time. How do they get that pool time in? And sometimes it's if you're a middle school who is a feeder, they're going to give you that priority versus someone that's not. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get in there. It just means that, so that's where that has to be navigated, so it's an issue. But why we don't build more pools, I can only tell you that it has to do with the money. And I don't know if, now I know at Siegel, when I was at Siegel, I had morning duty and I would see our swimming team come from sports comp. They were getting up at, I guess, 6:30 or something, and they were going over there and swimming in the morning. So I don't know how they were, that was an answer. Now I can't imagine middle school kids getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go swimming. So I don't know how, that's how they manage their pool time, I guess.
I'm advocating for them. I hope we cover the bridge. I must be a child teacher. I sent my kids in 6th, 7th, 8th grade to Cedar Hall in Christiana.
Mhm.
They didn't have a basketball court, they didn't have a football field, and they swam in the creek. I must be a child teacher.
Yes.
You oversee club sports as well as you mentioned club sports, but that seems to me that if you have club sports in all the schools, middle and high schools, that
Mhm.
would be a pretty large group to oversee. It's really not very regulated, I would guess.
Yeah, club sports are a little different than the what they would TWAA sports. It's kind of like a non-faculty sport. It's a volunteer sport. They don't have to go through. You still have to have a background check and things like that. but they don't have to go through all the requirements that a full-time somebody that's helping with football or basketball or baseball or something like that. Like you have SROs, student resource officers that are archery, things like that. But it's monitored, and a lot of times it's our administrators who are out there with those kids. But it's a large group of people. Archery, like I said, trap. I didn't even know these things were out there. It's a large group, and the parent support is phenomenal. So it is a big deal for a lot of people. Mhm. Yes. It's off thousands. I mean, it's over. Yeah, I don't have the exact number in my head, but it's several thousand.
Let's give him a hand. Coach, you know I'm really proud of you, and we have a certificate on your behalf for speaking to us today, as well as a certificate that is awarded in your name on behalf of ending polio here in globally. So we thank you so much. Let's give him another hand. Now, I cannot believe it's been 30 years since we first met. And I recall my office was in Jones Hall, 329. And this gentle giant came to the office and announced that he wanted to teach. I believe it was history that he wanted to get certified in. Because I explained to him, there's no certification in coaching. You've got to be a teacher. And the most remarkable thing about Chris was that he did everything I asked him to do. And I always say to students, now I can always tell if you don't do everything. I can always predict the results. But Coach, you have far exceeded the results. Now, I had another student by the name of Ben Dotson, and the two of them coached together. I had Ben in 5th grade and then again in college. Ben and Chris together, I knew would be a power team. And I'm so proud of what you have been able to accomplish. So you know I expect a yes every time I see you. Now, this is a week to really celebrate, because on Saturday, the 28th, Randy Allen has a birthday, and Judge Newman has a birthday, and Gloria Bonner has a birthday. But in the event you cannot find anything to celebrate this week, Gary and John Hinkle are going to help you to decide what it is we're going to celebrate this week.
Yeah, you may not know this, but John Dietrich actually has a whole day for himself. Sunday, August 22nd, is National Be an Angel Day. Monday, August 23rd, MTSU Fall 2021 class. So if you're downtown Murfreesboro, be careful, because this kid does not know for myself. Wednesday, August 25th, is National Banana Split Test.
Yeah.
Thursday, August 26th, is National Women's Equality Day. That's good.
Thank you so much. Let's give them a hand. Now we have some dates to remember. This week on Thursday, the 26th, we have our first official board meeting. The location has changed. It's at Bradley Academy on the 2nd floor. So we're taking every precaution possible. And the meeting will begin at 5:00 p.m. Now, Tuesday, please keep in mind, September 7th, that's the week of Labor Day. There will be no meeting here at the club. And then keep in mind on your calendar, October 9th, we have the Murfreesboro Middle Half, and we'll hear more from Barb Sutton regarding that. And also Tuesday, November 9th, our district governor, Michael Vapp, will be visiting our club. So at this time, I would like to remind you to go in love, go in peace, and go in unity. Dismissed.